food addictions and bad habits are often the most difficult things to change when it comes to weight loss and healthy living. And I've had my share of food addictions and bad habits throughout my life. I've struggled with them and I've tried to lose weight on and off through my life and trying to do it on my own. And sometimes I'd be a little bit successful, but usually not because the habits didn't change. Maybe they just changed for a little bit, but they'd come back. So my journey with First Place for Health actually started in 2009. I was 57 years old. Our four children were grown and out of the house. My husband had a job change, and I was at the highest weight I'd been in my life. And we moved to another town and started attending a new church. And I went to the church library one day just to browse some of the books there. And I was in the women's section, and there was a book there called First Place. And it was before First Place for Health was called First Place for Health. It was just called First Place, and it was written by Carol Lewis. Well, I took that book home and I read it, and it like hit me like a bullseye because I could see from what she was sharing in that book what was missing in my weight loss journey. It was God. Now, I've been a pastor's wife. It's not like God was missing in my life. He was missing in that part of my life. I didn't talk to him about it. I didn't pray about it. I didn't trust him about it. So I had a spiritual issue going on. So I immediately, after reading the book, I looked up on the website and found that there was a First Place for Health group in the town where I was living. So I called them up really quickly and I visited that group a couple times, but found that they were only doing the Bible study. That was not enough for me. I wanted to do First Place for Health. And that would include learning about nutrition and learning about the exercise and the emotional part of our beings. So I thought, well, I will just start a group. Now that was gutsy because I had not lost all my weight, but I thought, it'll help me to lose weight. So I bought a leader kit and put the announcement in the bulletin, and 17 ladies signed up. And I jumped in with both feet. I just want to say that I have loved being a leader for First Place for Health. The biggest benefit is, well, you get to know some really cool people, but one of the biggest benefits is the accountability, because when you're the leader, and they're looking to you to lead. And so it made me do better and make better choices, and knowing that I was leading these ladies. Well, that was 12 years ago, and by God's grace, I have maintained a 20 to 25 pound weight loss. Now you might think, well, that's not a lot. Some people have lost 100 pounds. Well, I didn't have that much to lose, but I had never kept it off like this before. This is the first time I've been able to actually keep it off. Now, I mentioned at the first of my talk here that I had bad habits and food addictions. I'd like to give you an example of a bad habit that God really helped me with. And it needed to be addressed for me to have some success in weight loss. For most of my life, and I can remember this starting back in my teenage years, I have been a closet eater. Now, some of you may think, well, that just means she goes into a closet and eats. Well, sort of. What that means is I would crave food and then figure out a way I could sneak it so that nobody would see me eat this, because it would make me feel too shameful. Well, as soon as if you're a closet eater, you know this, but as soon as you've done that, the guilt and the shame come. And then you feel really bad. I had this horrible cycle going where I would actually pray, get this, God, forgive me for what I'm about to eat. Now that's just kind of sick, but that's what it was. I would ask God's forgiveness because I knew I was going to sin. That's how twisted your mind can get. So anyway, the part that I needed God's help was the spiritual part for that closet eating, because I needed him to help me and remind me how you're going to feel after you've done this. Made me look at myself. And it also reminded me how close I needed to be walking with the Lord, and having a quiet time each morning became really important to me, because it really shaped the day for me when I would spend time with God first in the morning. And those closet eating times did become fewer and fewer and fewer. Does it still happen? Yeah, it can raise its ugly head sometimes, but not like it was before. And I would just like to close with a plaque that I saw one time. Actually, I bought it. It was a needlepoint, and it said, you've probably heard this before, if you don't feel close to God, guess who moved? And that's my talk.